Hello, guys. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, Navid, how are you doing? Long time no see.
Yeah, doing good.
Awesome.
ऑर्डर कैसे
All
मैनेजर
right, guys. Hey, Kerry,
मैनेजर था
uh, okay. If you are not talking, if you can mute yourself, that would be great. I can see Anika Raisa. Welcome here. I can see some more people joining. Ayush, how's it going? And then I can see Aminul Islam. Welcome. Ed Buddha, welcome. Misbah's iPhone, welcome. And then Mariam also, welcome here, guys. We'll just wait for the first 3 to 4 minutes for everyone to join in. We'll just start exactly in 5 minutes sharp. Usually starting Zoom, reinstalling, it always takes a little bit time. It will be great for the first part of the session if you guys can turn your videos on just so that we can get to see. Then later part, if you want to turn it off, it's fine, but just want to see everyone a little bit. And then, hi, Anika. Actually, maybe we can start. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm gonna mute you if you are not speaking. I'll just request you to kind of like mute yourself. Of course, if you want to talk, you can unmute and talk. But let's actually start with basically typing from where is everyone joining in from. I know that Roni is joining from Virginia. Right, Roni, are you joining in from Virginia? Where are you joining in from actually?
Yeah, Virginia, Northern Virginia. Yep.
Northern Virginia. So if you guys can type in the chat, where are you guys joining in from? That would be awesome. So which city or state? Just to understand Michigan. Okay, Anika from Michigan. I think it's still cold there in Michigan. Sharat from Dallas, not as cold. Welcome. Mesbah from Kansas. Awesome, welcome, Mesbah. I don't think I've been to Kansas ever, actually. New York, welcome. Ayush, Dallas, welcome, welcome. Bed Buddha, Chicago, awesome. Navid, Louisiana, awesome, awesome, awesome. Great. I'm gonna just wait 2 more minutes and then I'm going to start. I think people are going to be joining also while we are having it. I think someone new just joined, Khairul Islam. If you can also share in the chat where are you joining in from, that would be awesome. Bonik, I don't know what's the full name. If you can also share. And this is going to be an interactive session. Of course, I'm going to ask kind of like mostly talking with Roni, but in the end, I'll definitely give you guys a chance to also ask questions. It will be incredibly helpful for primarily you to be able to turn your video on so that we can all see you, and then Roni can also see you when you send him a LinkedIn request. It does not seem like a complete random connection. So and it's always good to build trust using video. Obviously this kind of events you can learn a lot, but another person you go to this kind of events is just to network with people. So we'll at the end of the event we'll share the LinkedIn so that you can see each other. I'll just request, I don't know if everyone uses Zoom regularly, but on the top right you'll see this thing called view, and instead of keeping it speaker view, if you can give like a gallery view, then you can actually see everyone. That is a good way to be able to see everyone with video. So okay, Bonik is basically Shejuti Bonik. Okay, great. Sharing is from Fremont. Okay, Sharat. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Well, we can start again. If you can turn your videos on, will be super great. If you cannot, absolutely, no worries then. And I will actually start the session right now, and I'll let others join on their own time. And definitely feel free to like ask your questions in the chat. In the end of the session, we'll give you some open mic where you can ask questions verbally. But for the first half an hour, let's focus on getting to know a little bit of Roni's story. Roni, thanks a lot for making your time on a busy day. I know that you just came from the office. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Thanks for welcoming me to this session. Actually, I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm glad to meet so many people. I didn't even expect that it will be that many people. I thought it will be few, 4, 5, 6 maybe, but I'm really surprised to see this many participants. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I think people will still keep joining. There is always some technical issues, and we see people joining even in the middle of the events. But Roni, just for everyone's context, so I know you for many years, and I know that you started your career in basically like long back. Right now you're a senior engineer in Microsoft, but obviously it didn't happen in one day. It took like probably a decade to go where you are, or even more than that if I'm counting your studies. But maybe just by starting something lightweight, let's talk about how we actually met each other, and then we can I'll pass the ball to you. You can introduce yourself better than me. So do you remember how we met each other?
I know how we met. So I don't think you know about how we met. So first of all, I knew about you from someone in New York. I just arrived in New York and I was looking for a job. And somebody told me that you went for some kind of training, some IT training in Maryland. And then they gave me your number to talk to you that so that I can go to that training also. So I went to the same training after you left in Virginia and in Maryland. So yeah, I met you. I know your name from that perspective that I wanted to do IT training. So I did my IT training, but I'm a mechanical engineer, by the way. I'm not an IT guy. After doing the training, I realized it's not for me. So I will stick to my basic, that is mechanical engineering. Yeah, that's how I knew you. And then we met, I think, in New York in 2014 or 15. You came to New York once, and then I joined you for lunch. I believe so. I'm not sure exactly. Is that that
Yeah,
day?
yeah.
I think that's the first time we met. Yeah.
That's the first time we met. I also heard about you from my other friends, very close friends. And I think we had a lot of mutual friends, but that's the time when I actually remember like hanging out with you more like in New York. But the biggest hangout with you was in Thailand, which I'm sure will probably come sometimes. So but yeah, I'll let you introduce yourself. I think some people are joining still. So I'll request everyone to kind of like ask the questions also in the chat. You guys can start asking the questions right now. I will make sure that whoever is asking the questions faster will prioritize those. But let's start, Roni, with a little bit of your introduction. Let's dive in.
My introduction. Okay. I feel like interview. Okay, I'll be very brief, and then if anyone has any question, I can say more detail. Yeah, right now I'm working in Microsoft as a senior mechanical engineer. I just joined Microsoft recently, like 4 months ago. Before Microsoft, I was working for the U.S. Embassy in Thailand. That was a construction project. This is the funny part. I was working in construction, and now I'm working in Microsoft in data center. So I was working, helping U.S. Embassy to build a new embassy in Thailand. That's why I was there for 2 years. Before working in Thailand, I was working in Dubai for another 2 years. As a mechanical engineer, I was working for U.S. Air Force as a consultant in an air base in Dubai. That was 2 years. And before Dubai, I was working in New York City. So I was working for the city of New York, basically government employee in New York City. Most of my experience was in design and construction. like mechanical design and construction. And yeah, so I also have bachelor's and master's in mechanical engineering, bachelor's from BUET, master's from New York City, I mean, CUNY, City University of New York, City College. Then I have my PE license in New York State, professional engineering license in New York State, and also I have PMP certifications. So those are my main assets when I go for an interview. I use those, that's my weapon. I use those weapon all the time. And then the later part is that how can I utilize those items to pursue further? That's that's my basic introduction, and that's how I'm here right now.
Yeah, no, awesome, Roni. I know that we can cover many series if we. I think you have a alumni also like Burhanuddin also studying in CUNY. I'm just looking at the chat. Roni, no, that's I'm sure that we can talk a lot about if we want to talk about like individually all your experiences. Before we go to how you got into Microsoft, I'm genuinely curious to know that out of all these projects, let's say after graduating from CUNY, you went through a lot of experiences, right? Like you went through this overseas experience in multiple countries. You even in US, you were posted in different places. If I had to ask, which ones are your like the most substantial learning experience, or like fundamental experience shifted more? Because not all experiences are equal usually. When you look back, the top experiences for you, like where you learned a lot, and if you can share those learnings.
Okay. So most of the experience, actually, all of our experience, even I'm talking here, it's also a learning phase. And also we are achieving things from doing this also. Even whoever is listening to this webinar or joining this webinar, this is part of our experience. So my engineering journey started, actually, I have so many experience. I just realized it. I didn't even mention my military service. Okay, I was in the army also, as you know, that I joined US Army. So that also taught me a lot about life and about a lot of things. So going back to past, I would say the military experience taught me a lot about myself and the limit, how far we can go or what we can achieve within our short within our target. And then the working for the city of New York also, it was very basic. My engineering started with the city of New York, so that was also a good part of my engineering experience. Then after I moved overseas, working in Dubai and also in Thailand, so those are all important part of my life, like very special part of my life. But if you ask me where I learned the most about engineering and basic engineering, I would say our high school, I mean the college, from 12th grade. So all we are doing every time is like basic those things. I work with a lot of cooling and power right now. And every time I do like, cooling refrigeration circuit, and these cooling circuits remind me of my basics of like, high school times, that we are learning all this heat transfer. But basically, my high schools with our degree, what we get, like the engineering knowledge from there, and also all the experiences. But most recent experience in Thailand was very significant for me, and that actually kind of that gave me a lot of power to apply for further, to seek further achievements or further goals. So that helped me a lot.
Okay, so a couple of points. So like just picking up on what are the things you said. So one, by the way, guys, like feel free to jump in with any kind of questions you have in the chat for Roni anytime. If something is directed towards algorithm, I will definitely make sure that we are acknowledging them by the end of this session. But please feel free to ask any questions to Roni. Feel free to also share your LinkedIn, because again, this is a good way to connect with each other. Just paste your LinkedIn link in the chat. But let's go to Roni. So Roni, you're saying fundamentally like three things. One is that definitely whatever you learned in your high school, it's good that you remember those like fundamentals and basics. That's great. I am more interested about understanding how was your experience in the military, because you did say that that was something which changed you in terms of learning. Definitely something can be an asset. And then you said something about the Thailand experience. So why are these two experiences different than the other experiences in terms of like and I'll tell you also why I'm asking these questions, because this is why people are actually getting hired in terms of like this variation of experiences, and to be able to explain why this was different. So can you tell me like what was the experience in the military which kind of like changed your personality, let's say, like before and after? How were you before and how is the after version? Like what was the change, like observable change to you?
Okay. I will share a story about not a story. So I was talking to some guy who was also in the military before, and now he's working for federal government. So we are talking that he's also from Bangladesh. So he was saying that, okay, in Bangladesh, we have uncles. Like if you have uncle, you go somewhere further, like that help you to build your kind of career. In America, they call it unsaid military. So if you have military service, it's by default, even though it doesn't help you directly, but by default, when you go to any interview or any places, that kind of play a little soft rule behind the back, like just soft rule. It doesn't have to do anything with it. So that's what they say. But besides that, military it was a very amazing experience, because they push you to the limit, and also they teach you how to be resilient, and also how to seek for the better about yourself. So that helped me a lot to change my perspective about life and about what I can achieve. So that was very good outcome from the military. Thailand was quite important because that's really connected with my current job, because currently I am working in data centers, a lot about cooling and power generation system. So while I was interviewing with Microsoft, it was a long interview I had to go through. We'll discuss, as you said, later on, that we'll come back to that. But when I was in Thailand, so it was a construction project. So we are building the whole new embassy in Thailand. So there are a lot of mechanical. So I was kind of in charge of all the mechanical systems. So any mechanical system we're installing, I was the one who was kind of overseeing the construction project. So what we're installing, so it was a lot of heating system, cooling systems, power generation systems, all this HVAC. So why it was important for me, because when I went to the interview for Microsoft, they asked for a lot of same type of questions, but in a bigger perspective. Like, so Microsoft has huge data center where you need so much power and so much cooling. So even though I have a little bit experience in Thailand or in any places in mechanical systems, I could use that as my main asset, and I was kind of making it a bigger picture, and it was very important for my current role. That actually helped me a lot. So yeah, that's the reason.
Okay, so I'm getting 2 points, and then I'll let I think there is one question I'll ask, and then we'll go through the Microsoft. And again, everyone who is joining, feel free to ask your questions. I'll see which ones are more relevant at this moment. I'll answer those, and the rest I can tackle in the end. So 2 point, what I understand is that definitely whenever someone is being hired, the interview panel definitely looks for some set of what is that called? Some set of adjectives, let's say, for specific roles. If you are going for early stage, definitely employers are looking for more adaptability, agility. That's like adjectives they're looking for. And also another very important adjective every employer is looking for is some kind of resilience or stress handling capacity or something like that. So whenever you say that you have gone through military and it kind of pushed you to your limits, you don't have to, I mean, you can of course go through individual experiences on how it pushed. I'm sure that everyone can connect their own dots on how military can push your limits. I think that automatically filters a lot of it sends the signal to the interviewer's end that they know that, okay, this guy can handle the load. When the shit goes south, he can handle it, because that's like, you don't have to say, you can just say that, hey, I'm from military. We'll understand that, okay, man, we got it, that you can handle the shit goes south, because that is something which is a very important skill in the job. And this is a soft skill. It's not like a technical skill, but a very important skill, especially for those people who are going for managerial or a little bit senior roles, because for them, they have a lot of responsibility. So that I can see that was already part of the play. Second, I think, yeah, the Thailand experience, definitely there was a similarity, but there are also a lot of candidates probably who had similar experiences. I'm sure that probably they valued your like similarity in the industry, but probably a little bit difference in terms of viewpoint, that you are still working on similar stage things in a smaller scale, sure, but there are a lot of mechanical engineers who are also going through a lot of HVAC systems in the US. I'm trying to understand what made them hire you over them, but maybe
Okay.
we can, yeah, maybe we can. So yeah, you can answer that,
No,
and then
this is very
Yeah.
interesting actually. So, okay, I'll share the reason they hired me. So actually, I asked my boss after I was hired that why did you hire me? Like literally I asked. So
Yeah.
his answer was that we are looking for, or Microsoft looks for someone with growth mindset and cultural fit, and we look for someone who can work with us, or we can work with that person, and you are the best one out of all the candidates. So it's not only technical skills, they look for growth mindset, that you have a mindset that you can grow and learn. And as we can relate to us, all immigrant or us coming from other country, we definitely have growth mindset. Everyone has, but and then also cultural fit and diversity and inclusion. They actually emphasize this a lot also, because they want someone that they can fit their culture, they can live their culture. In Microsoft, we believe in living the Microsoft culture. And what is living the Microsoft culture? Is like living as a whole one Microsoft, like living like or working together, the growth mindset. So those are Microsoft culture. So that's what you actually, I understood your question. Actually, this is very important part. I was about to actually, I would have shared it later on, even if I didn't ask, that it's not only about technical skills. Yeah, they see a lot of technical skills. I had to go through almost 7 interviews. So they check technical skills, technical understanding but their more main focus is like growth mindset, cultural fit, and diversity and inclusion. Yeah. So and so because of my different experiences going through, coming from Bangladesh, also working in different places, working in overseas, and also having military experience, all these things gave me, kind of built me as a person that fits well with the position I'm working at right now.
So that is basically the major takeaway, at least from me. For me, if I had to summarize, and hopefully the participants are able to also summarize, is that definitely, yes, all immigrants have some kind of growth mindset, because they have to go through transition, all of them somewhat. Obviously, they have more growth mindset compared to the people who didn't migrate, for example. Like, I mean, I shouldn't say that, like, of course people can stay in their home countries and they can also grow in different domains, but this is a proven growth, that whenever someone is migrating to a new country, they have to go through a massive painful transition. Everyone goes through it, so that inherently shows some growth. But Roni, your growth is actually completely reflected throughout. I mean, I know you personally, but I'm sure that also got reflected in the interviews. Anyone who knows you, I'll tell what is the perception of you in my mind, and that will give you the signal on why do I think that you are a growth mindset person. Is because you lived in, so first of all, you changed your career like in different types of industry. You were in mechanical engineering or engineering, but not necessarily only on the, you worked in the city of, I think you
New
worked
York.
city of New York.
Mhm.
You worked in army. Did you work in Navy also? No. You worked in army.
No, Army. Yeah.
You work in army, and then you lived in different countries, so many different countries, some countries in Middle East, then in Thailand, multiple countries, but the span of time is actually not that long. Like from the time you graduated from CUNY until now, you already have a almost lived multiple lives in multiple countries, multiple experiences, multiple industries. That actually shows the fundamental growth mindset here, because if you are not a growth mindset person, you would have not been able to go through so many transitions in such a short amount of time. So I think that was honestly the reason, and of course the resilience part which you said. But I will go to the question Burhan Uddin asked. Which college of CUNY you passed from? Which college? How your degree helped in achieving your professional career? How did you get your green card? I'll pass the last question. I'll skip the last question because today we're not talking too much about immigration for today because we have so much to cover in terms of ground. But Roni, basically, which college? And then
Oh, okay.
how your degree helped, like from CUNY, did it help, and
Okay.
how did it help, if you can explain. And thank you for asking the question, Burhanuddin.
So I went to CUNY City College. It's one of the engineering college in New York. It's one of the cheapest one too. So that's why I went there. It was cheap. And then secondly, if degree helped, of course, degree helped. Those are our kind of, what is this called? If we have two different types of skills, soft skills and hard skills. So that is very hard skills that you need those asset to showcase your worth. So degree help in a sense that it's kind of proven skill that okay, I did something, it's proved that I know something. So for job like in Microsoft, for especially for my position, I'm a senior mechanical engineer. For my position, so it doesn't require master's degree, but having a master's degree, it's always kind of put you in the front line of all the applicant. And also I have a PE license. It's called professional engineering license. For software engineers, they don't need license, but for other engineering major like electrical engineer or mechanical engineer. So having PE license, it helped me to go to the front of their interview panel. So yeah, it helped.
Awesome. By the way, guys, feel free to, in the end, like for the last 10 minutes, let's say we will go through like a audio question and answer. Right now, we're just taking like chat just so that we have like more organized process. But maybe, Ronnie, this is a good transition to talk about the hiring process in Microsoft. Can you walk us through the hiring process of the senior role, because you're not going for the junior one? I think it will be a little bit different. Like if you can tell a little bit about the assessments you went through high level, what are the stages? I think you already talked about the quality, but more like about the process would be helpful.
So I think Microsoft hiring process is kind of standard. So the first stage is to that you have to find the job posting. So at first I will share the standard process, and then after that I will share my experience, like my hiring stages. So the process, it's like basic 3 stages. One is at first some recruiter will call you, have some interview. After passing that recruiter screening, they send the application to the hiring manager. So hiring manager do the screening call, the hiring manager will call, talk a little bit, try to understand if he will be okay with working with me and stuff. So after that, if someone pass these two stages, one is the recruiter. The recruiter can be directly hiring manager, but usually some recruiter calls, and then hiring manager, this is 2, and then the third one or final one, it's called panel interview. So that's the main kind of decision-making factor, panel interview. So usually 4 to 5, or it can be 3 to 5 panelists, they will, or subject matter expert, they will call or they will talk and they will have the understanding with the person to see if he's the best fit for the position. It can be, it used to be in person, but nowadays it's usually virtual. It happens virtually. So that's kind of so yeah, that's the main stages, like 3 stage: recruiter, hiring manager, and the panel interview. In my case, so now I'm gonna talk about my so that's a standard. So in my case, so at first some recruiter, so I went through 7 different interviews, 7 different days, 7 different times for the same position. So the first one was the the recruiter. Some recruiter called me. We had a very nice conversation, and basically they wanted to learn my experience, my knowledge, and my past experiences. And he's not a subject matter expert. He just wants to understand the basic requirement for the position. So after I ended my conversation with him, the another day, his boss called me. The recruit, also it's a recruiter, called me and had another interview, saying this, they want to make sure that I'm the right fit for the position. Until that time, I didn't know who was my who I'm going for. Then they mentioned that I am okay. Somebody asked, was the 7 interviews, 7 different teams? Yes, so 7 interviews, 7 different times. Yeah, it's it can be individual person, only one person, or different person. So it's all different teams. So after the second recruiter called me, then they said I'm the best choice for them for this recruiting process. So they sent my interview package to the main Microsoft HR. So Microsoft HR started contacting me, and then they scheduled the interview with the hiring manager first. That was the first. It's called, that is the kind of, then it's the official screening process start with the Microsoft. That hiring manager talked, and I had like 20-30 minutes good conversation, very good. And so when you go through, another thing I want to add here, so when you go through interview, it's not that only they're interviewing me, it's also me. I have to interview them, and I have to know that if I'll be able to work there. So that's very important too for any job, I would say. So when I talked to the hiring manager, I really liked it, because everything he was mentioning, and I was also asking him questions, he was also asking me questions, and we kind of clicked. And then he was like, okay, we kind of like you, and looks like you're a good fit. Then I was like, okay, am I hired? Then he said, no. You have to go through another main round of interviews, and that's when we'll decide. I wish I could hire you right now, but you have to go through this process. Anyway, so they scheduled for another 4 interviews with 4 different teams. They sent me the whole schedule, and then it was fun, right? It was hard interview. I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's fun that they ask from very simple question to a lot of technical questions. They give a lot of different problems that I have to solve. And also it was mix of technical, mix of behavioral, mix of everything. And also in this phase, it's not that they're only judging me or they're only seeing me as a technical expert. They want to see all these things I mentioned earlier: the growth mindset, adaptability, cultural fit, and diversity and inclusion. Within that, when we are talking, they actually have boxes that they mark. Okay, if this guy will be fit for our culture. So yeah, so technical process is important. At the same time, technical skill is important. At the same time, those are very, very important in Microsoft hiring process. So yeah, so even they ask it, so they also ask, okay, actually, so it was very friendly interview. So it's not that crazy interview that they're very strict. They're very friendly. So the first interview I had, he also told me, the next guy, he's very strict. If you don't know anything, just tell him that you don't know anything. So it was fun ride. But it was very good process, and I enjoyed the whole interview process. That's why I guess we kind of clicked with each other, even though I didn't. It's not that I answered everything. I couldn't answer a lot of questions. So if I couldn't answer, I was very open and straight that, okay, I don't know the answer. But they give you, so in the interview, they give you a problem, a specific problem. Okay, if this happened, that happened, how you'll solve this? Then suppose I don't know one part. I'm like, okay, I don't understand this. What does that mean? Then they explain, okay, this means this. Can you now solve it? I'm like, no, I don't know this one. Can you tell me what is this? Then it was very friendly, mutual understanding as a team in the interview. I'm talking about interview team. They were helping you. They're actually learning you. And I was being very genuine. And I was like, okay, I don't know this. How can I solve it? And okay, this means this. Now, can you solve it? So it was very good understanding, and I liked the process. And when I solved it, I felt good that, oh, okay, actually, it was very good teamwork between me and the interviewer. So yeah, it was the whole, yeah, that's the experience I had. And yeah, after the seventh interview, I got a call from the HR that, okay, they are interested and they want to send an offer to me. So usually in Microsoft, after they send you offer, they also tell you, okay, now this is the basic offer. If you want to negotiate, you can also negotiate. So you can negotiate. And if after negotiation, they send you the final offer. So that's the total hiring process.
No, thank you, Ronnie, for breaking it down. So just so that I understand and just to summarize, so the first interviews, so there are total 7 interviews, total, you said 7?
So the total complete, I went to 7, but basic was, the main was 5, like the last 5. That was from the Microsoft. The first 2 was from the recruiter, some recruiting agency. Microsoft has this deal with the third-party recruiting agency. They find people, they kind of pre-screen before they go for the final Microsoft recruiting.
Understood. So the first 2 were basically more like a recruiting agency interview, which definitely Microsoft will have. Usually for the senior roles, they always have recruiters or recruiting agencies kind of doing the initial filtering, and then they kind of pass it. So that makes sense. And in these 5 interviews, were all of them technical, or some of them were completely behavioral, or all of them were more like hybrid in terms
Hybrid.
of all of them
No, it
were
was,
mix of technical and behavioral, all 5?
yeah, it was all 5 was kind of, let me think. Let me go back because I also forgot a lot of things. So as far as I can remember, it was 1, 2, 3. I think 2 was a little bit less technical. Like it was, they were saying that, okay, I will see your kind of cultural fit in this interview. That they explain. I will see your growth mindset. This interview is to find out if you have growth mindset. So then they ask you a lot of behavioral question, or they give you kind of problem and how you will solve the problem. Usually they ask very random, like normal generic question. Okay, your strength, your weakness, and also if you had any experience working with bad colleague, good colleague, how did you solve it? All these kind of things. So before interview, I think everyone who is listening, I think it's very important to have some kind of example in mind that, okay, if you have any example or experience with something, it's always should be there, that when there's somebody ask, if they ask, okay, if you have any experience with problem solving. Now, during the interview, it's kind of hard to think and go back. So it's always better to prepare if you have, you can say yes or no, but at the same time, if you show that with the example, that's more acceptable to the person. They care about the story a lot. They care about example a lot. So everything we will say in the interview, it's important to add a story behind that one. Like, okay, do you know, suppose, SolidWorks, or do you know math? Yeah, I know math. Then you share a kind of experience, or a story of, okay, yeah, when I was doing this, I did this math and this problem happened and I solved this problem. I talked to a teammate. I asked my boss was fine. So basically this kind of story helps a lot whenever there is an interview. Yeah, so
And Ronnie, for these interviews, as you said, that it was a mixture of behavioral and technical, but I think it was pretty heavy on behavioral as well, mostly because you are probably in the senior role. So once they understood that you understand the technology things, I think they primarily focused more on the culture fit. At least for you, probably that was majority of the case. Or these 5 interviews, do you remember that if they all of them were were any of them solo, or all of them were in groups, like all the 5?
It was solo. All of them are solo. Like solo means that person was by
Oh,
themselves.
these are all one-on-one interviews, not in group.
One-on-one interviews, right? They're kind of high level. I'm they're right now I'm actually working with them, not in directly, but they are kind of higher positions. They're like kind of technical director or some stuff.
I understood
So
that.
they and yeah, you're right. Actually, I just remember that even though it was technical question, like suppose they are asking me some technical problem, but it's behind the technical problem. It's not about technical problem. They want to see how we actually react on those problems. So it's behavioral mostly, because as I mentioned earlier, that sometimes I didn't know a lot of answers. I was asking and they're answering back. They're trying to help me out. So that means they're actually trying to see if I'm actually if I'm a team worker, if I have the integrity, that if I'm actually just making things up, or I'm actually really sincerely trying to solve the problem. So being genuine and being yourself, it's very important during the interview, that if they actually understand, that they feel that this guy is actually trying to solve the problem, trying to work in a team. So those were, yeah, so most of the interviews were kind of technical plus behavioral, but heavy on the behavioral, or like trying to understand that few things, like growth mindset and cultural fit and diversity and inclusion, those are stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Just give me a second. I had a thought. I lost the train of thought for a second. Oh, what I wanted to say is that yes, the 5 people who actually interviewed you essentially had this kind of like background sheet of variables they are looking at, and all of them probably gave votes in all of these, and then eventually they had the conversation. And as you said, like for those adjectives like like growth mindset and fundamentally the soft skills they are looking for this role, obviously you have to pass on the hard skills as well. I think that's basically was the determinator. Like I think that's like they have to Microsoft interviews, or like these companies interviews a lot of people, and they have to eventually be able to remember the character they're interviewing. And definitely, I mean, it's impossible to create the scope of the interview here, because these were really long interviews, because you actually had to go deep into all these stories, that those stories basically essentially made them remember you. Anyway, let's go to the questions, and then I'll go to the next topic. I think Bonik asked a question that basically, I am a software developer looking for new opportunities. I wanted to know, how do you distinguish your interview at Microsoft from other job interviews? You're okay. And then the second one, I'll also ask, Anika asked it, I think it's similar, is that what is your tips for an individual who is new to the US but wants to secure an interview with Microsoft? I think these are kind of correlated a little bit. So
okay, I will explain briefly. I will go first. What is let me go back. So looking for opportunity, I want to know how. Okay, distinguish interview in Microsoft. Okay, so what is the distinguish? It's the name is the main distinguishing part. Microsoft, it's a different one. Actually, it was very good because Microsoft is highly structured, and that was the distinguishing factor here. And they're highly structured, and you feel welcomed in Microsoft interview. That when I was sitting in the interview, I felt very grounded, welcomed, and they're very friendly person. And I felt that it's not me that I am going for the interview. They are trying to get me to the position, and they are trying to help me out. So and some other interview can be very tough, that people are tough, people are kind of mean-faced, they can be like trying to kind of, they're not trying to hire you. So with Microsoft, I feel this kind of welcome feeling that they're trying to actually work with me. They're trying to, give me a kind of good feeling, and also it's very structured. So I didn't feel intimidated. I feel very welcomed and understood, and it helped to answer questions. It helped you to be yourself. So that's the way I would say that the difference between these other companies interview with other company and interview with Microsoft, that was the main distinguishing feature. And the second question I would go to new opportunity. Okay, what would your tips to if an individual who is new to the US industry and secure interview for an applicant? Okay, that's a good one, Anika Raiza. Okay, so I will share the few ways to get into Microsoft, or some good ways. So one of the ways, the networking, it's a good one, that networking. And when you apply for any position in Microsoft, we have something called referral program. So that means anyone working in Microsoft, they can refer for the other person. So when someone referred for the other person, usually if the experience, and if it's a good candidate, it goes straight to the hiring manager. So that means if anyone working in Microsoft refer a candidate, it goes to hiring manager, and hiring manager read the resume. So usually how the resume process work, if you guys know, that resume process usually goes to some automatic screening session, then some other HR, they screen the resume, then if they like it, then they send it to the hiring manager. But if the referral program, if any Microsoft employees refer the candidate, it goes straight to the hiring manager. Now it's up to hiring manager if they want to if they want to call the candidate for interview. So you are skipping few few stages. It doesn't have to be in Microsoft. In actually all big tech companies, that's how it works. If you know anyone from tech companies, just ask them for referral. And also, secondly, if you don't know anyone, so go to LinkedIn, try to find someone that in the similar role in that company, and knock them, try to ask them, okay, I am interested in this position. What do you have any suggestion? Or how can I do this? Usually some people can ignore you, but some people can actually genuinely try to help you. So in these big companies, or in Microsoft, I can talk for Microsoft, that we want the right person to work with us. We always want it, and it's a struggle to find the right person. So don't feel that we don't want to hire you, or they don't want to hire you. They want to hire you, they need you, but it's us who has to actually showcase ourselves in front of them, that okay, we are the right person, why don't you hire me? Or like, I can help you out with your with the team. So yeah, that's the answer for second question. Interview. Yeah, so it's basically referral program, and try to see what they're looking for. Resume is important too. You have to make your resume the way they want to see your resume. So you have to actually kind of make the resume in a way that you fit for the right. I just remember something. So yeah, this is important. I'm gonna share it too. I know that Siam doesn't have much time, but I'm gonna share this. Resume is very important. So you have to write the resume the way they want to see, and the way when you apply for a position, you have to convince yourself that you are the best candidate for this position. So that's an important thing. Like if you're applying for any position in Microsoft or anywhere, so you have to convince that, okay, this is the reason I am the best fit for this position. And then when you go to the interview, you are already best fit. So you are actually confident that, okay, I don't have to worry about anything because I'm the best fit. So when you see some position, you see the job description they posted, and you look at yourself, or like, see what you are good at, and try to compare. Okay, they are looking for this. I'm good at this. So then you have to actually have a idea about yourself and the position you will be working for, and then give that idea to yourself and understand that you are the best candidate for this position. And so when you're convinced, then go for it, that you're 100% convinced that you are the best candidate. If you're the hiring manager, you'll be hiring only yourself, not the other person. So if you're convinced to that level, so when you go to the interview, you will be more confident, and also you know that you are the best candidate. So that actually very helpful. I think that helped me to also to secure the position with Microsoft also, because when I went for the interview, I knew that I'm the best candidate. I mean, I believed in it. I don't know why, but I believed in it that I am the best candidate and I'll get that job. So while I was actually I was in the interview, I had that the energy we have, like, when you believe in yourself, you'll have different energy when you're in the interview level or when you're going anywhere. So I had that belief that I'm the best candidate, and I was just talking like that. So yeah, so what? So ask me this. Okay, you're asking me this. Okay, this. I don't know it. So what? I'll learn it. So you have to be that attitude that, okay, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't know. It doesn't mean that they will not hire you. They will hire you if you have this kind of, believe in yourself and thought that you want to learn, and you don't know. So what? You can learn it. You don't know it today. You can learn it tomorrow. So if you have that attitude and if you have this belief and you have good background a little bit, you need the basic requirement obviously for the job, but after the fulfilling the basic requirement, those soft skills are very important when you go to the interview, because those guys are very smart, those guys you are interviewing. And so they are not only looking for someone that highly technical, they are not looking for someone that they knows everything. They are looking for someone who are willing to learn, and they are looking for someone who are willing to work with them. So that's important. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents for this question.
Yeah, very good, very, very good 2 cents. I'll also actually kind of emphasize on this point, and this is something which I'm observing in the session as well, that basically, like, I don't know if it is with immigrants or in general, whenever people are kind of in the early stage of their career, they're probably shy. So even in this event, this question and like, people focus a lot on knowledge and skills, which is definitely required, but not as much in networking. So the first point you said is actually, unfortunately, the biggest and truth, although no matter how many times I say it, it will still not be iterated enough, that 85% of the US hirings, irrespective of small companies, large companies, are basically like hired through referrals and networking. And whenever recruiters are looking for people, whenever they're hiring, they're seeing that, okay, we have common mutual connections. Obviously internal referral works, but even if internal referral, let's say doesn't work, let's say Anika here, who is asking question, if Anika is connecting with Roni in Microsoft, the next Microsoft recruiter, whenever they are seeing Anika's resume, they will see they are connected with Roni. That is already an indicator. Maybe through this small step, I'm just giving an example, Anika will pass through from the filter, compared to, let's say Anika is applying to Microsoft and she had 0 friends in Microsoft. I'm just giving one example. But this factor of networking is so important, but unfortunately it's not trained probably from our culture or from our childhood. So like, it's very difficult to retrain the brain on the networking. I know you, Roni, for a long time, so I know that everywhere you go, you're always connecting with people, networking. So this is very organic for you. But honestly, if anyone, let's say this session is obviously helpful in terms of what is that, like knowledge and wisdom, but anyone can go to Google and search how to land a job in Microsoft. This is not a new information, but what is new here is the connection with Roni, who is in Microsoft, and these people to be able to Roni to be able to see these people's faces, which I already said that is the binding attachment which will stay. That is the networking. But maybe over time people will get comfortable to like go to the events. Like, I really appreciated all the people who asked the questions. These are already networking happening subtly, because Roni will remember Anika's name, or let's say, who was the previous, like Muhammad Burhanuddin's name. Good connections, already some good strategies here just by chatting here. These are good networking things. Second point also, Ronnie, you said, I think this is also something entry-level people struggle with a lot, is this thing that going with confidence. I think that kind of, unfortunately, this is such a small thing, but this also swings the interview results a lot. Of course, you cannot bullshit in the interviews that, hey, I'm completely lying. You have to be authentic. But the confidence that I am actually a great fit for this role, if someone can genuinely believe that, I'm sure that they can crack any interview. But I think that's where most of the people are, especially in the entry level, are really struggling. They forget whatever they know. They're stressed, anxious. Probably it's more psychological. Let's see with the question with Anika. Okay, we have 5 minutes. I will probably extend it for maybe 10 more minutes. Just give me a second just to make sure that we're not missing out on any topic. Okay,
In the
Anika.
meantime, I'll share while you're extending, I'll share something. I thought I was kind of like, this is my first time doing some webinar. I was like, okay, I cannot. How can I talk 1 hour? It's not possible. Like I didn't have any idea. I'm like, okay, after 10 minutes, I will not have anything to talk about. Now, the more I'm talking, I'm like, okay, I have so much more to share. I'm like, okay, then 1 hour is done, so I'm good.
No, yeah, yeah, totally. This is more like a just get spontaneous conversation. Ronnie, thanks a lot for your time. And yeah, of course, you went through the experience. It will take time to reflect on it, but it will come out, I'm sure. But okay, okay. Also, active LinkedIn channel. Okay, Anika has sent me a good direct message. I will probably share some tips if we have some time. I do want to make sure that we're taking more questions. So, guys, any more questions? Feel free to shoot. I will ask. We will extend it for maybe 10 more minutes because we started 10 minutes later. We are just chit chatting for the first 10 minutes, but then we'll wrap it up in 10 minutes sharp. Ronnie, I have another question actually. What, I mean, within your scope of NDA and everything in Microsoft, what project are you working on right now? Exactly, like what does your project do? I mean, within the privacy rules, whatever you can share. And just curious, like this is my personal individual curiosity, like what project are you working on and what's the, yeah, like what are you working on right now?
No, I can talk. It's fine. Yeah, there are a few things that I cannot share because, okay, so I work in Microsoft data center. So if you have idea about data center, it's a lot of servers, like, millions of servers. So the main issue in data center, it's to provide power and cool it down. So as a mechanical engineer, so that's my role. Provide power to data center and keep the data center cool and safe. So that's the main thing, that just to ensuring that data centers run smoothly, ensuring that we have proper efficiency, because it's not only one or two small data centers, it's like huge data center. So that's the main function of my day-to-day job. Like I kind of oversee the overall data center operations from mechanical engineering standpoint. I'm not doing day-to-day like fixing. We have like hundreds of technicians, data center technicians, data center electricians. They do all the things, but if some problem arises or something going on, I am the one who will be actually helping or fixing those problems or allow them to do things. Okay, so that's my kind of job to make. Okay, I saw the question too. I'll go back to the question later.
No, thank you for sharing, Ronnie. No, I think I got the answer. Like, yeah, they are doing the expansion of data centers actually in a lot of places. But that's a good, like, very good insight also for me to know what Microsoft is doing at big investing.
Yeah, so data center in Microsoft is huge. Actually, I mean, not huge. They have so much and they're building so much. So if there is any mechanical, electrical engineer in the call, or any operations manager or like program managers, they want to get into any tech industry, they're actually fighting with each other to build who can build more data centers. And it's a huge fight because with AI coming, and AI needs all the power and data. And so that's why data center industry blooming like a lot everywhere. So if you come to Virginia area, it's like if you go to Bangladesh, if you drive down and you see all the garments factory, and if you come to Virginia and you just drive in Virginia, you'll see the data centers here and there, and they're building Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, all these data centers are they're building a lot more because they need a lot more data center to support AI. So yeah, so my job is basically data center engineering. We have a huge, good amount of engineers working for Microsoft, and we are kind of, Microsoft, another internal thing about Microsoft, we believe in one Microsoft culture. One Microsoft culture is like, doesn't matter what we do, where we do, it's always one Microsoft. Like everyone helps each one, everyone is supposed to help each person, each individual, doesn't matter what's their role or job. So that's one thing. Yeah, that's kind of pretty much my job. And if I break it down, if I go dive deep into my function or job responsibility, I can talk more. But let's stay in high level because we don't have much time. I can go answer this question very quick. I just want to know if you have done PMP certificate before getting Microsoft. If before, how do you think it? Okay, PMP certifications. Shahrat Ankon. Okay, thanks for the question. So I got my PMP certification long before Microsoft. I got it in 2020, beginning of 2020. And if it helped, it didn't help directly. Like there is no direct impact of PMP. But what I was saying before, that everything, whatever you have, it's like kind of if you play video game or shooting game, you look for the arms, right? You look for this gun, that gun. So all these things actually help to prepare you for or make you the good candidate. So if you have some kind of certifications, they kind of look at it and they feel like, okay, this guy is kind of efficient, or this guy knows things. So it's it's kind of that way. That's why it's kind of important. It's helpful, but it didn't have any direct impact. But for my PE, it had direct impact because they were looking for someone, since I'm a senior engineer. So if they hire someone with PE, it gives them kind of good strength. Because we have Microsoft, there are a lot of engineers. So to get that credibility, suppose I come up with a solution or come up with a process improvement in Microsoft, the whole team in my data center, they look for credibility on them. So if we go to the one Microsoft or big Microsoft, they're like, okay, who gave this solution? We don't care who's this person. Then if they see that, okay, I have PE, I have PMP, like, okay, this guy, Roni Ahmed, has PE, PMP. This solution came from Roni, then it goes straight to, like, it gets more credibility or credible ideas. So that's why it's kind of important to have different kind of, what is this called, degrees or certifications. Well, in Microsoft also, there are a lot of people doesn't have degrees. So this is very interesting too. So they don't care much about degrees. So they have so much of my colleagues, they're kind of, technical background, but they know a lot. So that's why when I was saying diversity and inclusion, it's not only diversity that, okay, you are from Bangladesh or you're from this country, you are this color, that color. Diversity doesn't mean only that. Diversity means you have willingness to work with any people, like people without degree, people with degree, people with a different background. So that's actually diversity and inclusion mainly goes to. Like we have a senior electrical engineer. He's an electrician. He was electrician and became the electrical engineer. But I respect him because he knows a lot. His experience gave me a lot of knowledge. So it's not only about, when they talk about diversity, it's not only about that, okay, different culture, different background in the color or race. It's also about the, different thought process, the way they actually talk, and the way even they think about certain stuff. Those also means that, okay, you are good to work with in diverse group of people. Yeah, so that's my again 2 cents. It's 4 cents now.
Yeah, thank you.
Siam, Roni, before going to next questions, I am from England and I would like to quit now. So I think this session is going very good and it will be helpful for everyone, those are here. So best of luck, Siam and Roni.
Thank
See you.
Yeah, definitely watch the videos later. No worries. We'll continue for a few more minutes, but thanks a lot for joining.
Okay. Okay. Bye, Roni. Bye, Siam.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
have a
you.
nice day. Thank you so much.
Can we contact you for referral? Yeah, sure. I mean, so as I said, you can contact me for referral. Anyone can contact me for referral, but you have to convince yourself first that you fit for the position. So you cannot contact me without you being convinced. So convince yourself first that you are fit for the position, and kind of you can also write down a little bit that okay, this is the reason I think I'm fit for the position, because I also have to write. So referral doesn't mean that I just send you resume. It's a like structured format. I have to write things about you, that how I met, how I know you. Do I think that you are fit for the position? So I also have to convince myself, because that's why that's why Microsoft is so amazing. I love it because they have everything very structured and it's very good. So yeah, you can use me as a referral, but before that, you convince yourself that why you fit and why you think you are the best suitable candidate for the position you're applying. So they have a like kind of structured format that you need, what you need to send me. Like you need to send me resume, your email address and stuff. Uh, yeah, so if you find any position, you see that you are a good fit for the position, just email me or contact me in LinkedIn. Second question, how can we get a PE certificate? Okay. P certificate, every state has their own different way of handling it. So P certificate is given by state. So I got P from New York State. So usually they require 4 years of experience, engineering experience, and your bachelor's or master's degree. I think if you have master's, you need less years of experience. So you can look it up in your state, whatever state, wherever state, maybe you are in New York or Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So you can see the board of PE of that state and see what requirement they need. Usually it's two stage. One is FE, Fundamental of Engineering. So you take FE exam. So after FE exam, then it's a PE. PE is like usually 8 hours long exam. So if you pass these two exams, you fulfill your experience, and then you get the PE license.
Awesome, guys. I think we are kind of good on time. I did want to share two thoughts here, and then with the two thoughts, I'll pass it to you after that, Roni, for any close-up things. So two things, because I'm noticing two of the thought processes here, and I did want to share this because I feel like a lot of the it's difficult to remember these things if you are not trained. So I will share my screen for this one. And for me, it's always easier to remember things on the notepad. It's the simplest format of taking notes. So I want to share two of my biggest learnings in the last 15 years in terms of soft skills and hiring. Number one rule is basically networking. Whenever we go for networking, it means that networking, fundamentally, goal of networking is to be able to give. So uh, uh, whenever I'm networking with someone, the first question I ask them that, hey, how can I help you? How can I help you? What are your struggles? I do not talk about me first. I try to understand their struggles. And that is what is the core principle of networking. The moment networking becomes about, hey, I'm talking to you, can you help me first? I literally have never seen you. I have just only seen you in an event, but can you help me first? That sends the wrong signal to begin with, because why will someone help you first? Everyone is busy. So that's number one rule. And this small understanding of networking is giving trickles down to a lot of things, because then you become a better listener. You are asking questions. You are genuinely trying to understand what is their struggle. And then not only that, let's say like a lot of people are asking for recommendations from LinkedIn for me, for example, but it doesn't occur in the mind that why would I write a recommendation for you? I have never even worked with you, or maybe I worked with you for 3 months, let's say. Isn't that better that you write me a recommendation, you give me first something, and then you ask for the favor? So this simple rule of thumb, that if you are going to a network, first trying to help the other person, no matter what, every human being in this planet goes through some struggle. No matter if they're a senior engineer, junior engineer, does not matter. If your angle is coming from the angle that, hey, it was great talking to you, showing the gratefulness of this, and then, hey, what is your goal right now? What are your challenges? The moment you understand people's challenges, you will be able to figure out how you can help them, and that will change your wiring on how to network. So always give first. The approach is basically give first, ask second. This is a by default formula I operate in life in general with every human relationships, especially new ones. Once you are friends, then these transactional layers are gone. So that's rule number one. Rule number two is basically hiring is done based out of trust. This is something I cannot iterate enough in this thing. Many of the people still thinks that hiring is based out of skills, which is valid. It's not invalid. But if you understand how a hiring is done, then you will understand that it's fundamentally based out of trust and secondarily based out of skill. Let's say I'm looking for a React developer. Let's say I'm a CEO, I'm looking for a React developer. I'll give you my thought process, and then you will understand every other employer's thought process. If I'm looking for a React developer, let's say I'm trying to, what will I do? I'll think like, okay, who is the React developer in my network? That's going to be my first rule of action. If that is not happening, I'll go with probably like, okay, is there anyone else who knows React development in my network? The third one will be like, okay, let's go with LinkedIn or general platforms. But even in LinkedIn, whenever we have applications, the resumes, we are never even calling the people in the interviews if they don't have common mutual friends with us. So let's say the filtering is gone already on the layer of on that layer. So let's say I'm seeing someone, I don't know, let's say I'm seeing Anika here. Whenever I'm seeing Anika that there are 19 mutual friends, this sends me a trust signal. So everything a recruiter is seeing, the goal is to be establishing trust. Having 19 mutual friends establishes trust. Let's say Ann Arbor gives me a trust, gives me a signal that she probably studied in University of Michigan. Again, sorry, Anika, I'm putting you on the spot by sharing your screen here. You studying in Michigan
It's
is
completely fine.
Yeah, it's giving me a signal of trust. Everything having a profile picture which is more front facing gives a trust. Everything you do should signal trust. That how can I increase more trust to the end user, whoever is observing me. And the more trust points you can gain, the more you can penetrate through this layer of so many resumes being applied. And I cannot go in too much detail on how to build trust, because let's say I'll tell you a reason on why this is, and I mean I'll stop sharing screen. Trust is basically having certifications, having endorsements. The more people who are endorsing you gives a trust that this is a legitimate profile, because there are so many fake profiles right now on LinkedIn. How would I know? If you have 50 recommendations, that means this is a legitimate person. If you have 50 endorsements, great. This is so more and more trust is established by, let's see. Okay, so pretty high engagement. There are a lot of comments. This is trustworthy. When I go here, okay, this is posted. This is an incredible summit, blah, 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 Black History Month, superb. And there's so much engagement. So every people who are seeing here, they are also gaining this trust. Anyway, we can go into like trust building more in some other time, but just wanted to share that because I think there are some gaps on this. Just to wrap it up, Roni, how do people get in touch with you? I think I gave you your LinkedIn. Is that the easiest way to connect? And then last but not the least, Roni, if you have anything to say kind of to the participants and any kind of best wishes. You already shared so much wisdom today, but I also am just reiterating the LinkedIn so that they can connect with you. You
Okay.
might see some
Mm.
random requests. Please don't be surprised.
No, it's
But
fine. As you
yeah,
said, trust is very important. If I see request, I usually approve it unless it's coming from some,
random
there are
people.
a lot of requests. There are a lot of requests coming in, but you can actually see from when you clicked in the LinkedIn or profile, you can understand that this is a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah, trust is actually important. I want to. Do I have some time, more time? Then I can talk more, a little bit
Sure,
more.
sure. No
Okay.
worries. We'll wrap it up
Yeah.
properly.
So
Yeah. Mhm.
okay. So you talked about trust. Actually, also in Microsoft hiring process, when I was saying that they look for all these things, that they look for, cultural mindset, it also comes from trust. That when they're talking to you, if they are trusting you enough to fit in their culture. So those are important also. And also another thing I forget, I just remember after you're saying listening. Listening is very important. That's actually build trust on that person, that if I talk, if this person will listen, or if this person will be able to work with us or with people, because listening is very important. When someone, or if you're in the interview, it's better to listen more than you say. You say only when they ask. You say only what they want to know, not more than that. If you don't know something, don't say it. Like you just say, okay, I don't know, or I would like to learn it later. So instead of you, as you said, bullshitting, no, it's better not to bullshit, because they need to trust you. And if they find out that you're bullshitting, they will be like, okay, this guy is just, because then whoever is interviewing you, okay, so I'll wrap it up soon. Okay, so basically they want to hire you. It's not that they need people. Like in Microsoft, we need so many people. Like every time we need, so you can go to Microsoft website and you will see so many, open positions. They don't find the right person. They don't find a trustworthy person. So it's not that you are the one who is looking for a job. It's actually the company. They're looking for the right candidate. So as I mentioned earlier, if you figure that, you have to understand that you are the right person for the position and apply. So go for it and just apply and see what it happens. So connect with me. Yes, you can use me as a referral for Microsoft, and you can connect me with LinkedIn. In LinkedIn, I am pretty active in LinkedIn. I always check my message in LinkedIn. So if there is anything I can do for anyone, I would happy to do it. So feel free to reach out to me, or if you see any position and you feel that, okay, you are the right candidate, just shoot me a message and I'll try my best to, write nice things, or yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, if you just go for it, and always dream big, dream high. This is very important. Dream high and be confident that we went through a lot, like being an immigrant and coming here, even talking here. We all went through a lot, and since we went through a lot, we can go more. So that's my motto, that we've been through a lot, now we can go more and we can give more to the society. So yeah, be confident and keep doing the right thing. And I hopefully everyone will do great. Thank you everyone for participating. And yeah, it was nice meeting you all.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot for Ronnie for taking your time on such a busy day. Guys, thanks a lot for also listening. Feel free to stay in touch with our community. We will be doing at least one workshop every month. Could be as much as two per month. So definitely just go to the website and then just subscribe to our newsletter, which will basically get all these news. But again, Ronnie, thanks a lot. And hopefully we can bring you back again, Ronnie, some other time, or we can do another party in Thailand or some other place for
Sure,
hanging.
sure. Now DC, come to DC.
No, this party is going to be in DC, yeah. So, but
Okay.
great chatting, guys. Thanks a lot and have a good rest of the day.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Sambai, for inviting me. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
well, thank you.
Okay.
Let me just stop the recording. Is it still recording?